My wife said, I don't feel anything for you anymore, after I gave her everything, so I left without a word. Now she's begging me back, realizing she destroyed the only man who truly loved her. You never think it's going to be you. You hear stories, guys working themselves to the bone trying to provide, only to come home to cold shoulders and emotional distance. And you think, I'd see the signs. I'd fix it. But sometimes, the signs aren't loud. They're whispers. And by the time you hear them clearly, it's already too late. My name's Jake. I'm 34, living in Minnesota, born and raised. I met Rachel during our senior year at the University of Wisconsin. She was studying interior design. I was finishing my degree in business analytics. She had this way of lighting up a room. Big laugh, even bigger heart. I was drawn in instantly. We dated for 3 years before I proposed on a snowy December night in Duluth. It was simple, just us and the skyline. She cried and said yes. We got married the following fall. We moved into a modest home, a fixer-upper, but she loved the idea of making it ours. I landed a solid job with a tech company. Long hours, sure, but the pay was great. I figured the more I earned, the more I could give her: vacations, a beautiful home, stability. But the more I gave, the more I felt her slipping away. It started small. She'd scroll through her phone at dinner. She'd go to bed early, back turned. I thought it was stress, so I planned a surprise weekend getaway to a cabin in northern Minnesota. She smiled, thanked me, but the spark just wasn't there. I asked her one night, gently, "Are you okay?" She just shrugged. "I don't know. I feel off." I tried harder after that. Picked up more chores, gave her space when she needed it, sent flowers to her office on random Tuesdays. I even asked if she wanted to try counseling. She waved it off, said she was just in a funk. Months passed. The intimacy faded. Conversation turned transactional. What bills were due? Who's buying groceries? What time the dog needed a vet checkup? Then one night, after I'd cooked dinner and set the table, she barely touched her food. I asked if she was feeling sick. "No," she said flatly. "I just don't feel much anymore." I looked up. "What do you mean?" She stared at her plate. "About us. About you. I'm not angry. I'm not sad. I just feel nothing." Those words cut through me like a blade. I sat there, silent. She wasn't yelling. She wasn't crying. She said it like she was reading off a grocery list. I asked her, "Have I done something wrong?" "No," she said. "You've been perfect. Too perfect, maybe. It's not you. I just don't know who I am anymore. I don't know if this is the life I wanted." I didn't sleep that night. I lay next to her while she breathed softly, peacefully. I stared at the ceiling, wondering how the woman who once clung to my arm during thunderstorms now felt nothing lying inches away. I kept trying for another few weeks. Thought maybe it was depression. Maybe she just needed time. But every attempt, every kiss, every thoughtful gesture was met with lukewarm detachment. So one Sunday morning, while she was out with friends, I quietly packed a bag. I left a letter on the counter. Nothing dramatic. Just the truth. "I love you. I always have. But I can't keep pouring myself into someone who feels nothing in return." I left the key on the table. Now, 2 weeks later, she won't stop calling, texting, leaving voicemails where her voice shakes and cracks, saying she's sorry, saying she was confused, saying she didn't know what she had until it was gone. Funny, isn't it? I gave her everything. And now that I'm gone, she's finally feeling something. Would you have stayed longer in my shoes? Or was walking away the only way left to be heard? The morning after I left, I turned off my phone. I needed space. From her, from the life I had built around her, from the endless cycle of trying to fix something that clearly didn't want to be fixed. I drove up to my buddy Carter's lake house. He'd offered it to me years ago. Always said, "If you ever need to breathe, it's yours." I never thought I'd take him up on it. There, by the quiet of the water, I finally let myself feel what I'd been holding back for so long. Anger, sadness, confusion, all of it. I wasn't perfect. I know that. But I showed up. I worked long hours to give us the life she dreamed about. I brought her coffee in bed on Sundays. I remembered anniversaries, even the dumb little ones like the day we adopted Max, our golden retriever. And still, she drifted away. 3 days after leaving, I turned my phone on again. 18 missed calls, 27 texts, a few voice messages that started composed and polite and ended with her crying. "Jake, please just talk to me. I didn't mean it the way it sounded. Can we at least have a real conversation?" I didn't reply. Not right away. Not because I wanted to punish her, but because I was still trying to understand. How does someone go from being your whole world to acting like you're a roommate she doesn't recognize anymore? A few days later, Carter showed up at the cabin with beers and blunt honesty. "You're still in love with her," he said. "I don't even know who she is anymore," I replied. "Doesn't matter," he said. "You've still got one foot in. You need to decide. Either you go back and talk it out, or you let her go for good." That night, I finally answered one of her calls. She sounded exhausted, like she hadn't slept. Her voice cracked when she said, "Thank you for answering." There was a long pause. "I didn't mean what I said the way it came out," she began. "I was confused. I am confused. But not about you. You were the only stable thing in my life. I think I took that for granted." I didn't say much. I let her talk. She admitted she'd been feeling empty for months, that she started following wellness coaches and influencers who filled her head with things like, if you're not excited in your relationship every day, you're with the wrong person. That her friends, mostly single, kept telling her how boring married life looked. I started believing it, she confessed. That I deserved more. That love should be thrilling all the time. And I thought maybe it was you who was the problem. But the last 2 weeks without you, Jake, I've never felt more lost. Or more stupid. I stayed quiet. Then she said the one thing I didn't expect. "I don't deserve you." I could feel something shift in me. Not closure. Not forgiveness. Just clarity. "I don't know if we can fix this," I finally said. "But I'm willing to meet and talk. Just once. No promises." She agreed. We planned to meet the following Saturday at the same coffee shop where we had our first date 11 years ago. Since that call, I've been wrestling with everything. Was this a mistake she truly regrets? Or is she just reacting to the loss of comfort now that I'm gone? She says she feels something now. But is it love or just regret? What would you do? Would you give someone like that a second chance? Or is love that comes too late not worth holding on to? Saturday came, cold and gray, the kind of weather that makes everything feel heavier. I pulled into the lot outside Hazel's Cafe, the same spot where Rachel and I met for the first time over a decade ago. I remember she spilled her latte on her jeans and laughed like it was no big deal. That's what drew me to her. She didn't take herself too seriously back then. Now, as I stepped through the doors, it felt like walking into a memory I wasn't sure I wanted to relive. She was already sitting at the corner table, hands wrapped around a cup of peppermint tea. Her eyes lit up when she saw me, but her smile didn't quite reach. There were dark circles under her eyes, and she looked smaller somehow, like the weight of the past few weeks had physically worn her down. "Hey," she said softly. "Hey." We talked. About the house. About Max, who she said had been moping around and sleeping by the door. About work. About everything and nothing. We danced around the core of it until she finally took a deep breath and said, "I know I hurt you." I didn't respond right away. "I was chasing a feeling," she continued. "Some fantasy version of happiness. I thought maybe I'd outgrown the life we had. But really, I was just running from myself. And I let you take the blame for that." Still, I said nothing. I didn't need an apology. I needed honesty. I needed to know why love could vanish from her eyes without warning. I needed to know why she looked at me for months like I was just furniture. She must have seen the hesitation in me. "I don't expect you to come back," she said. "I just wanted to look you in the eye and say I'm sorry. You didn't deserve that." That's when I finally spoke. "Rachel, I loved you with everything I had, and it still wasn't enough." Tears welled in her eyes. "That's what breaks me the most." There was a pause. Then she reached across the table, not to grab my hand, just to close the distance between us, somehow. "I miss you," she whispered. "Not the routine. Not the comfort. You." And there it was again, that damn pang in my chest. The part of me that still wanted to believe in her. In us. In the life we had built from scratch. But then I remembered those nights I lay awake next to her, wondering why she couldn't even look at me. The mornings I cooked breakfast hoping to catch a smile that never came. The slow erosion of my self-worth while I tried to make someone love me again. So I told her the truth. "I miss you too. But I think I miss who you used to be. And I'm not sure you're that person anymore." "I'm not sure I'm that person anymore either." She nodded. Didn't argue. Didn't beg. We sat for a while longer. Just two people staring across a canyon that once was a bridge. When we stood up to leave, she hugged me tightly. She didn't say goodbye. And I didn't promise anything. That was 2 weeks ago. We've spoken once or twice since. Cordial. Careful. Like two people learning to walk again after a long fall. I don't know what the future holds. Maybe we find our way back. Maybe we don't. But I do know this. Sometimes walking away isn't about giving up. It's about finally choosing yourself. If you were me, would you give her another chance? Or is it better to start over than to rebuild something that broke you? I'd really love to hear your thoughts. I appreciate you watching till the end. Hit that subscribe button and stay tuned for more content.